what is your name?
Naomi.
Naomi, what's your major?
African and African Diaspora Studies.
Okay. What is the name of your organization or business, and what is it about?
So my business is called the Bridge Learning Foundation, Bridge for short, and it's an after-school program to meet the needs of at-risk students in Metro Atlanta. So basically we mobilize community leaders and local nonprofits that have similar missions to us to create workshops centered towards like giving back to the communities that these kids are from, and through that we teach them life skills. But then also Bridge works closely with teachers and parents to really craft a personalized curriculum to work on every student's greatest problems.
By providing these students with the tools and information needed to help enhance their education and their lives, how do you think this could evolve to impact students nationally or globally?
So that's a great question. So I actually have a friend that's working in STEM right now, and she's already doing something similar, but she basically brings STEM to like these affluent, wealthy private schools in Atlanta. And for them, it's just fun. Their parents are willing to spend hundreds of dollars, just, so
it's like an extra add-on.
Exactly. So they don't need it, but it's basically like an expensive, fun way to like keep kids entertained so they don't have to come home. And we are adopting that, and we are making a free version of that for high need students. Usually they're Black, Latino, economically disadvantaged students. And the goal long term is to bring the students that graduated through the Bridge program back as mentors. And then they would serve as mentors for the students that are currently in the program. So long term, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at really keeping the students that have been through the program and have gone through the workshops and the trainings and all that Bridge has to offer, bringing them back so that they can serve as mentors for newer students. Eventually, I would love to have some sort of scholarship program because we're working with middle school students here. And so eventually I would like to provide some sort of scholarship program either for high school students that are going to like charter school, but then also providing scholarship programs for like college and beyond. Right now everything is on a volunteer basis, including the staff members that Bridge has. So right now it's just me and another friend of mine, but eventually we'd like to really grow it into something big that I don't know if it would span nationally, but maybe branching out to other places in Georgia.
Okay, I could definitely see it being like a really well-known Georgia thing.
And then the workshops that we create, we could sell those to other schools across the nation, and we could use those proceeds towards providing exactly to the students that need the free services.
Okay. Since I told you earlier, my topic relates to education, how do you think this group could encourage students to have a higher education?
So one of the big problems that we have with students performing below the academic standard of what is considered, below the academic performance levels, is that there aren't enough wraparound resources. And what I mean by that are students typically fall behind because of something going on at home, or they fall behind, whether that's socioeconomic reasons, or they fall behind because maybe they have mental health reasons, or maybe they fall behind because they don't have a supportive network or mentors, or maybe there aren't high expectations for those students set in place at the schools that they attend, for whatever reason that may be. And so Bridge wants to bring those high expectations and those high standards to schools where they may not already be. And in doing so, encouraging students, empowering students, and really allowing students to have a voice where they may not have had one before, so that they feel like they can be successful in school. Okay. It's really hard to be successful when you don't have a toolkit. You can't ask questions if you don't know what questions to ask.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's really what Bridge's mission is to do. It's to provide toolkits, individualized toolkits, because every student is different, so that students want to come to school, want to learn, because every child wants to learn, you know? And it's when we disempower students that they're not comfortable coming to school anymore, or they feel like the material that they're learning isn't relevant to them. And we want to change that.
So has there been anything in your personal life that has affected you, that made you just have a personal drive towards this group?
Yes. So I grew up in, like, if I'm being completely honest, I grew up in a middle-class community. I went to a predominantly white school all through my life, but I was one of the only Black students at my school. And there was this constant need to fit in and assimilate and socialize and be interested in the stuff that wasn't actually relevant to me. And it felt like I was pretending. For me, that's kind of where I felt like there was a disconnect between myself and the people that I was around and the things that I was learning and the influences in my life. When I came to college and I took my first Black Studies class, that's when I really started to get to know students from, by then they were adults, you know, in college, but I got to learn from people that had extremely different experiences growing up than what I had. And where they went to schools where all the other students did look like them, their teachers did not. And I have a similar connection to that. My teachers did not look like me. There were no Black teachers. I've never had a Black teacher. And that's crazy, because there's so many educated Black people here, especially in Atlanta. But I got to meet these people in my classes who they didn't have the things that I had. I realized that I was privileged in that way because, you know, maybe they didn't have the books that I had. They didn't have, you know, MacBook research labs in their schools. They didn't have, you know, counselors and psychologists and after school programs where they felt like, you know, really had an impact on their life. When I started volunteering for the Latino Youth Leadership Conference, which is every year. Yeah, it's really impactful. And that's like 6th grade through 12th grade. And I worked with 12th graders and I heard their stories about how they would go to their counselors for, you know, college advising or career advising, and their counselors would discourage them, like, maybe college isn't for you, maybe you should go into a trade, or maybe you should, you know, go into the military, which those are perfectly fine things to do, get a trade job, you know, but that's not for everyone. And there was that lack of high expectations, and they weren't funneling students towards higher education because their counselors felt like they couldn't do it. And I don't want anyone to ever feel like, I don't want anyone to ever be in a position where an authority person is telling them that they can't be successful, even when they're trying to pursue difficult things. That's not what students should be learning, especially in an environment that's supposed to encourage academic learning, personal learning, professional learning. That's how I got inspired with Bridge. Really, it was more so like hearing other people's experiences and realizing that I was privileged and fortunate to have had the resources that I had. And I want everyone to feel empowered to the highest ability that they possibly can. It's not fair to put the accountability on students when that accountability should be on staff and faculty and administration and systems that economically and institutionally disadvantage those kids before they even know that they're being disadvantaged or what that looks like. Mm-hmm. So that's that's where I'm going with Bridge. So yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.